So Black Panther is our current character of the month, and so we've been looking a lot at how he does in one-on-one matchups. But we're kind of mixed up a bit today, and see how he does defeating superhero teams. T'Challa has a history of taking down superhero teams before, like the Fantastic Four, but he did need prep in order to do it. But today, Black Panther is facing his greatest challenge yet, the Justice League. T'Challa believes that the League is a threat to his people in Wakanda, and so he's decided that it's time to take them out. The team will consist of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Martian, Manhunter, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Cyborg, and T'Challa is going to have unlimited time to prepare, intimate knowledge of the team, and all the backing of Wakanda behind him. And just a reminder, Wakanda is the most technologically advanced nation in the world, and is worth over $90 trillion. So that's a lot going for him. Now, it doesn't matter how long it takes Panther to prepare for this fight, the question is just whether or not Black Panther is going to take down the League. So let's get started. Now, T'Challa is a skilled fighter, and has been trained since birth to be a warrior, so the first thing he'll realize is that the best way to go about this is to take down the League individually. He also has no problem with killing or even attacking friends, as he stopped Iron Man's heart before, and Tony was shocked because he said they were friends and were the good guys, and was horrified of what Panther was capable of doing. Now, after analyzing the League, I think that the first thing he'll do is learn their secret identities. That way he can attack them when they least expect it. Aquaman, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman don't necessarily have secret identities the same way the rest of the team does, so that'll be easier for T'Challa. Now, Black Panther is one of the 8 smartest men in the world, and I'm fairly confident he'll be able to figure out the identities of Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and Flash. Riddler, Hush, Bane, Tim Drake, Amanda Waller, Deathstroke, Hugo Strange, and Lex Luthor have all figured out that Batman is Bruce Wayne, so with everything at Panther's disposal, I don't think it'll be hard for T'Challa to figure this out either. Plus, if he'll be able to find out the identities of Nightwing or any of the other Robins, then he can trace it back to Batman and then to Bruce. Same can be said for Superman, Green Lantern, and Flash. Give him enough time, T'Challa will be able to figure it out. So now let's get to the fun part. How will Black Panther take down the League? Even though Superman is one of the most powerful members of the team, he's also one of the easiest to take down, since he has the most obvious weakness in kryptonite. There's green kryptonite, which is the most common form and severely weakens, and will eventually kill a Kryptonian, red kryptonite, which weakens Kryptonians even more, and then gold, which is actually able to remove Superman's powers permanently.
How many more innocent people die before you accept that some lives need to be taken? My powers. How did you... Gold kryptonite, courtesy of Firestorm.
Get up, Cal.
Stay down. Enough exposure, and you'll be depowered permanently.
I believe that Panther's going to go for a gold kryptonite variation, because he'll have no problem depowering Superman permanently. Clark has actually been caught several times by surprise and shot with a kryptonite bullet, so I don't see any reason why Panther couldn't do it as well, especially if he caught Clark off guard at the Daily Bugle or something like that. And Panther should even be able to develop gold kryptonite too, as he's excellent at physics and he's a great engineer, among the top intellects of the world, and he's even created his own type of science called shadow physics, which combines alchemy and science. And then Panther could always come up with a way to depower Superman as well. He's developed a machine used to drain the Silver Surfer of his power cosmic, so I'm sure he can come up with a way to drain Superman of his powers from the sun. He's also developed a weapon on the fly that was used to block the electrical synapses in Thanos' brain and knock the Mad Titan out instantly. So I'm sure he can come up with some way to take down the Man of Steel. Next up is Wonder Woman. She is arguably the hardest one to take down, since Diana doesn't have any notable weaknesses to exploit. However, she isn't unbeatable. In fact, she's been beaten by using a nanite to trap her in a virtual reality battle against an opponent who was unbeatable and her equal in every way. Diana's refusal to surrender would eventually lead to her tiring herself out and dying. Wonder Woman is also more vulnerable to magic than normal attacks. With Panther's experience in shadow physics and alchemy, I'm sure he could devise a weapon to take her down. And she's also susceptible to piercing attacks, and her organs aren't impenetrable. In fact, she suffered internal bleeding from an attack, and it wouldn't be absurd to think she could be taken out with a sword, arrow, or dagger to the heart or another vital organ. Panther's energy daggers are able to phase through material, even Ultron's head, and he's got the ebony sword, which is capable of cutting through pretty much any substance known to man. Black Panther might be able to kill or severely injure Wonder Woman with one of those weapons if he catches her by surprise, but I think the likeliest way to take her out is with her nanite, to trap herself in a virtual reality, poison, or magical weapon of sorts. Of course, he could always just use the Thanos weapon I mentioned before. Batman is definitely going to be the easiest one for T'Challa to defeat. Knowing that he is Bruce Wayne, Black Panther can easily attack him in the Batcave or Wayne Manor. But probably the most strategic way to do it is out in public, while Bruce is doing a charity event or some other billionaire playboy type thing. He's been attacked in public before by a talent of the Court of Owls, and Bruce was forced to restrain himself at first and go for strikes that look like lucky blows. Of course, if he has to, and it's a fight for survival, Bruce isn't afraid to go all out and show his skill. But regardless, Black Panther's winning this fight. Batman won't have his armor and gear, while Panther has his vibranium armor, anti-metal claws, and energy daggers. And if T'Challa is prepping for this fight, then he'll bring along his energy shield, cloaking technology which makes him completely invisible, which is a thought, and a teleporter which is built into his gauntlets and allowed to instantly teleport over small distances. Bruce shouldn't be underestimated as a hand-to-hand fighter and won't go down without a fight, but he'll be caught off guard, and Panther's just bringing too much gear and is too skilled to lose this fight. Let's move on to Green Lantern. After analyzing how, I believe that Panther will be able to diagnose that the ring is fueled by willpower. I mean, Batman is able to come to this conclusion after only being around GL for a few moments. So Panther could come up with some way to break Hal's will and render him defeated, but I don't see him going that route. Instead, I think he'll utilize the fact that Hal's ring has a finite supply of energy and needs to be recharged whenever it's completely drained. And like I said earlier, T'Challa's come up with a weapon that is capable of draining the power cosmic from Silver Surfer's body, rendering him powerless. I don't see that the power cosmic and the Green Lantern ring are that different, so I believe they can come up with a way to simply drain the ring and then defeat Hal. Then it's impossible for Green Lantern to use his ring if he's under the influence of drugs, so Panther could always sneak drugs into his system, whether through a dart or something like that, when he's least expecting it, and then defeat him. Aquaman's up next. Now, T'Challa is a long-running thing of Namor, and has beaten him several times. In fact, T'Challa even killed Namor, although in the fight, he did have a bit of help from Black Bolt, and Black Bolt did the killing blow. Aquaman's arch-nemesis is Black Manta, who is really just a human, so Panther might be able to battle against Arthur as well. But he won't be going into this fight unprepared or without prep. Arthur's main weakness is the fact that he can get dehydrated, and he'll grow weak and die if he's out of the water for long enough. I'm positive that Panther is smart enough to come up with some way to drain the water from Aquaman's cells and end him. I mean, Panthers once fought against a man who had the power to convert matter into energy and was able to create a device that neutralized the power with stuff that he just found from the local hardware store. I'm positive that with the full backing of Wakanda behind him, he can find some way to drain the water from Arthur's cells or dehydrate him. Now we've got Cyborg. In a fight, Cyborg's white noise gun will be useless against Panther, since his vibranium suit is specifically designed to absorb noise and sound waves. Panther's speed and agility is going to be hard to counter, and his energy daggers and anti-metal claws are going to be enough to rip Vic to pieces. He might even go for Cyborg's human parts, which are an exposed weakness and could put him down a whole lot quicker than if Panther attacked his metallic parts. T'Challa has fought and defeated Iron Man before when he had time to repair, and get this, Tony was also preparing for that fight, and Panther still won. I would argue that Black Panther's tech is better than Cyborg, as he has access to a much bigger arsenal in the Wakandan vaults. The only thing that is really going to be a problem are Cyborg's boom tubes, but Panther's good at teleportation technology before, so all he really has to do is expand the range, and that will be essentially a non-factor. Moving on, we're now on to Martian Manhunter. Even though John is arguably the most powerful member of the League, he has a very exploitable weakness: fire. The most dangerous power in Manhunter's arsenal is his telepathy, but Panther has actually shown that he's able to resist telepaths like Emma Frost, as his mental blocks were too strong and painful for her to endure. Then if all that fails, he has tech in his suit to block telepathic assaults, and he's also created technology that disables telepath. And he's also shown that he's a master of stealth, and this even includes being able to conceal his minds from Omega-level telepaths and sneak up on them. Batman has defeated 4 White Martians, which is a match and gasoline, and Manhunter has been defeated by a nanite that converted his outer skin into magnesium, causing him to burn for weeks whenever he was exposed to air. T'Challa is definitely smart enough to figure out a way to make John burn indefinitely, and he's clever and stealthy enough to make it happen without Manhunter even noticing. Finally, there's the Flash. Along with Wonder Woman, Barry is probably the hardest member of the Justice League to defeat, regardless if you have prep time or not. Flash is faster than anyone on this list, and he'll be able to notice things at super speed as well. So that makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to actually sneak up on him. But since Panther has prep time, he should be able to come up with some way to catch Flash in a trap. Barry's been caught by surprise with sleeping gas and knocked out. He's been shot with a vibrating bullet that gave him seizures at light speed, and he's had a bomb strapped to his wrist that would go off if he ever stopped running. It'll be difficult, but give him enough prep time and I think he can take down Flash. So it makes me so confident that he can defeat all these heroes. While Black Panther has actually devised contingency plans for threats in the Marvel Universe, even including Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. He's also beaten Mephisto of prep time before, and Mephisto is essentially Marvel's version of the devil. He did this by studying his powers and realized that Mephisto needed a certain set of constants to utilize his power while on Earth. So T'Challa was able to place a force field around Mephisto, threw off his constants, and ripped out his heart. Then when Mephisto managed to drag Black Panther into his domain, he took T'Challa's soul, which also took the soul of the Panther God and the souls of everyone who conned him before T'Challa. This overloaded Mephisto's soul-taking abilities and nearly defeated him again. However, while I'm fairly confident that Black Panther can defeat any member of the Justice League individually if you give him enough time, there's one thing that we haven't considered: the actual team element of the League. I mean, they were created to handle threats bigger than anyone can handle on their own. They're not going to just let other members of the League die or be defeated and not do anything. Once they see that they're under attack, the League is going to be on guard. They're going to gather, and they're going to be impossible for Panther to defeat as a group. And it's really because of their speed. He will not be able to counter the speed of Flash, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Wonder Woman all attacking him simultaneously, no matter how much prep time he has. They're just too powerful and too fast. So individually, I believe that Black Panther are going to take down the Justice League, but not if they actually fight him as a team. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will see y'all next time.